Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day. We're once again reading some more PettyRevenge today and it's going to be so fun. Such an awesome and satisfying subreddit, I'm so excited to get into this. And yeah guys, I hope you're doing awesome. Had an unbelievable Am I the A-hole episode yesterday. I'm still sort of getting over that. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. But for now, we've got some fun stories to read. Enjoy guys. I disgusted my food thieving roommate. My roommate was stealing my food and not only not admitting, but apparently bragging about it to my other roommates and calling me a pushover. Oh my god, already frustrated and we just started. I didn't want to participate in whatever they thought they were doing, especially since I'm moving away in 2 months, but I do want my food. Today they were sitting in the kitchen chatting. I came in and I took my meatballs out of the fridge and I licked them one by one, all while maintaining eye contact with the thief. Then I licked several other items. I spat into my milk. I know it's a waste of milk, but luckily there wasn't a lot, etc. She looked utterly disgusted, and eventually she asked, "Are you mental?" I calmly replied, "I always do this, didn't you know?" and left. I don't know if she'll stop, but her face of mixed disgust and horror makes it worth it. Edit, well, I posted hoping to make at least a couple of people chuckle at my small win, but I got so many funny comments and cool PettyRevenge stories from you guys. Thank you. A lot of people are suggesting to sabotage her stuff. I don't want to. As long as my food is safe, that's enough. I won't leave any unsealed containers though, and the current situation is my food was not stolen today. I will update if something does get stolen again, but if you don't see any more updates, that means I won. That is so funny and so deserved as well. Like, yeah, it's your food. If you want to lick your food before you eat it, you're entitled to. Like, hey, I do this every day and I've done this to every single thing you've eaten before. Like, I'm sure they know that you haven't actually been licking all of your food, but at the same time, maybe not. Like, they wouldn't really know. And yeah, to call you a pushover too? Why are they being so awful? But yeah, I'm so happy you did this. That was such a beautiful start to the episode. The next one is called Christmas Gift Revenge. This was about 23 years ago. My husband was so lousy at giving gifts. He'd get what he wanted for himself. Yeah, like when Homer buys the bowling ball for Marge.
Beauty, isn't she?
Well, it's hard for me to judge, since I've never bowled in my life.
That year, I came home to a large box all wrapped up, about 10 days before Christmas, and he said it was for me. He was so excited. Mind you, we've always been pretty broke, so we, or should I say I, always bought for our children and his greedy family. Mother-in-law demands, and we always did without. For some reason, I wasn't that excited about this gift. Intuition. Well, Christmas Eve comes and we open the gifts. He gets all excited, telling me that I'm gonna love this present. I opened the box to find a shop vac. We had hardwood and lino floors, so I always swept and mopped and I didn't have any need for it. He told me that it's wonderful because it cleans up his garage, his domain, even picks up water, and he said it worked great because he already tried it before wrapping it up. I was so pissed. He bought it for himself. I would have been happy with a $5 necklace that turned my neck green. That night, I wouldn't even go to bed with him. He comes into the living room and I was laying down, and he told me to come to bed. I told him I wouldn't because I couldn't look at him. He then tells me how I was extremely selfish because gifts were to be what as a family could use, not what we would want. I laid there all night and plotted my revenge. I had to wait for a year, but like they say, best served cold. I kept quiet and I told nobody of my plan for revenge. 50 weeks later, I found it. I wasn't even looking for it, but it was staring right at me as to say, here I am and it's time. It was in a huge box. I purchased the gift, I got some wrapping paper for it and I hid it. I didn't want any sneaky Pete's. Christmas Eve while he was at work, I put the present under the tree, took 2 rolls of cheap wrapping paper and I put some ribbon and a bow on it. It also had a nice weight for it. We start opening gifts and I wait a bit. Finally, his eyes light up seeing this big box and finding out that it was his. He was so excited and I told him that it was specially bought for him. He opens the box to find a case of toilet paper. I then quoted him, "Christmas isn't for what we would want, but what we as a family need or could use. We all wipe." He was so furious. He complained to his brothers and to everyone. My family and his brothers told him that he deserved the toilet paper. To this day, no husband will ever buy a vacuum cleaner for their wives as gifts. Yeah, well, if only that were true, but I feel like there are plenty of people out there still doing stuff like this, and that really sucks. Not like the vacuum, but in a bad way. But yeah, good on you for doing this, OP. The bloody audacity to call you selfish after they bought this. That's hilarious. I feel like people buying presents is a good indicator at whether or not they're completely self-centered or not, because it wouldn't have been hard for them to get something meaningful. It's not like it has to be expensive or something, but no, get gets a vacuum that they wanted, not even considering that you don't want one. Yeah, like this comment says, you should have told Homer, your husband, that you knew the toilet paper was good because you already tried it before wrapping. Yeah, that's the other frustrating part. Not only was it not for you, but they also opened it and tried it before they gave it to you as a present. Yeah, that's so bad. The next one is called "Wanna mow part of my grass while I'm on active military duty? Have fun repairing your lawnmower." So this happened starting around 2008. My then wife and I purchased a small starter house. I was in the National Guard in a state that stays busy with natural disasters. Therefore, I stayed busy. My neighbor was a crabby old man that was retired and had way too much time on his hands. He wasn't very friendly, so I just kept to myself. While I was on active duty, my wife would stay with her parents so the yard would grow tall when no one was there. When I would get home, my neighbor would spitefully cut one path of grass in my yard to let me know it needed to be done. After a few of these occurrences, I told him that he can either cut the entire yard or he can stay out of my yard. He griped that I don't cut my grass enough, and once more I came back home from active duty with one path of grass freshly cut. Cue the petty revenge. My neighbor's mistake in all of this is that he always cut the same path of grass down the side of my fence. The next time my grass got even remotely tall, I went out late one night and I laid down long stripes of bale wire, approximately 10-20 feet strips, in the spot that he always spitefully cuts. A week goes by and the grass gets taller. Neighbor takes the bait. The morning after, I see him under his carport with his mower lifted up by a chain, having to cut all of that wire tangled in and around his blades loose. He never touched my yard again. Wow, really good stories today. The top comment says, "Oh, too bad you don't live next to my parents. My mum's favorite thing to do is to mow the lawn to the point where she gets mad at my dad if he beats her to it. She actually did mow a neighbor's property once when he was too busy. The same neighbor owned a car repair place and gave us a discount next time we came in." The next one is called "My brother-in-law gift policing our secret Santa list." My family-in-law wanted to have a secret Santa. My boyfriend took the initiative to generate one via an app or a website, but then my brother-in-law complained that the gifts would be too random, and he wanted one where everybody could make a wish list, so he did that. There were no rules on how many gifts you could put on your wish list, except that the max price would be $50. Suddenly, I get a text from my brother-in-law that it's not okay that I only have one item on my list, a hair straightener. I tried to explain that's everything I really want. I've already bought it for myself and that I wouldn't put unnecessary things on my list. He then went on a dictatorship rant at my boyfriend about how not okay it is that I only have one item. Nobody else had a problem with that. He started to demand I should put 3 items at least, so I put 3 straighteners on my list, just different brands. Here you go, Mr. Gift Police, 3 items. Wow, talk about sucking the fun out of something. Like, God, what's the point if you're gonna make it so boring? Not you, OP, the brother-in-law. Like, why are they making such a deal out of it? It's meant to be something nice and fun. But no, we need to follow the rules. Yeah, I'm sure you guys aren't gonna do this again. And it's a shame too, because it could have been fun. A bar that I worked at stopped paying us and changed owners. Oh, we got paid. A recent post reminded me of this story, so I'm gonna share it. I am old, so picture it. Margate, early 2000s. I've been waiting tables and bartending all over town, and I landed at a cool little hole in the wall next to a gym. The bar itself had a large group of regulars that will be waiting for me in the parking lot to open. I love the regulars. I did look forward to the same cheesy, flirty jokes in the morning, and I loved seeing the souls of these veterans light up when it was time to collect toys for Christmas. All the booths in the restaurant will get a piece of plywood and get filled with toys in time to make Christmas special for underprivileged kids. Seriously good people, good vibes, and I loved it. Although the restaurant was big and could sit over 100, it rarely filled up, and on our busy nights it would be just the chef and I. Most days no management came by. We slipped money in a safe drop, closed up and left. This should have been a warning, but I figured the owners would tell us if business were bad. They didn't. They just stopped showing up and they stopped paying us, and then one night the regulars and I were surprised to see over 100 people come into the bar asking about 25-cent wings. There was a new owner, a professional football player, and he'd invited all of his friends to his new spot. Were we told? No. Were we prepared? Also no. So then proceeds a horrible night of me, all by myself, waitressing and bartending for 100. The regulars were off-put by the new vibe of screaming and cackling and breaking stuff and throwing hands, so they left and they didn't come back. I could see how this was going to end and we still had hours to go, so I asked the chef, who'd just become my roommate, how much payroll he was owed, and then calculated mine. While I was scrambling in the front of the house, I instructed chef to fill the thick garbage bags with all the seafood and all the steaks in the house. I had him drop scoops of ice into the bag and then double bag them before placing them in our car trunk. The night ends, I produce a $2,000 check and this baller tipped me $14. I called him out on his BS in front of his friends, threw the keys at him, and both chef and I left him with a trashed restaurant. We picked up a handle of Jack Daniels and we called our friends and bandmates to the house, and we had an epic surf and turf party. I had originally planned to take only what we were owed, but after $14, I texted him to bag it all and then throw the bag outside the door ASAP because I was coming out as we were leaving. To be honest, I don't even know if he even figured it out. He bought the restaurant and hadn't even been inside it, much less taken food inventory. Only we knew what the restaurant had. All we left him were wings and fries. I still make scallop and shrimp and steak skewers from time to time and wash it down with some Jack. Yeah, and once again, you did the right thing. This has been such a fun episode. The next one is called I'm a Large Child. My boyfriend and I just bought our first house, and we live about a quarter down a dead-end street with a cul-de-sac at the end, and for some reason our house is the spot for cars and delivery drivers to turn around. It's a stupid thing to be annoyed about, but because it happens so often, I got fed up enough to park my car horizontally at the end of the driveway to block it off. I just moved from an apartment building that was across from a public basketball court, and we constantly had people parked in our lot taking up all the spaces and just hanging out. I was looking forward to some peace and quiet and not having distractions while I work. I have ADHD and stuff like this throws me off. I recognize this is the perfect example of a first world problem, but I'm also childishly proud of myself for this. Edit, good lord, the anger from people. Calm down everybody, it's called PettyRevenge for a reason. To be clear, my car will not be living at the end of my driveway. I'm working and I don't need multiple distractions a day. The car's being moved before it gets dark out so nobody hits it and gets hurt. I'm not a monster. Furthermore, as someone stated, the delivery driver can still turn around in the driveway of the house they're delivering it to. Curious, if a house has a gate at the end of the driveway, do you consider them entitled because they don't want anybody on their property? I'm feeling a bit petty. Oh hey look, the name of the subreddit. What a coincidence. The main part I'm confused about is that it is a cul-de-sac, so you can just turn around at the end of the cul-de-sac. Why do people even need to use your driveway to turn around? And yeah, you're entitled to block your driveway. It doesn't sound like you're on the footpath or anything. The next one is called Dryer Vengeance. I went on a cruise recently and they had free laundry services. Last day at sea, we decided to do laundry to not have to worry about it after the trip. My fiance loaded the washer and then changed to the dryer when needed. I went down to get everything out of the dryer and our clothes were on top of the dryer and somebody else had put their stuff in. We set a 45-minute timer which hadn't expired, so somebody deemed my clothes dry enough and took them out. Granted, they were, so I gathered my clothes and I left. But before doing so, I turned off the heat on the dryer, so when they came back 45 minutes later, they'd find their clothes still wet. Don't touch my clothes. Wow, this one really is petty, but at the same time, I definitely respect it. Like, the issue is not only that they touched their clothes, but also that they took it out before it was done, but also like they were done, so it's not a big deal, is it? Yeah, but also don't touch other people's clothes, so I do understand. Yeah, like they did the wrong thing, even though what they did really wasn't that bad at all. The next one is called I Guess I Won't Be Answering the Work Phone for at least 2 years. I've worked in an office for almost 2 years now. I have a teammate with the same job title, but with a slightly different role. Let's refer to her as Lola. We essentially work together as a team, working on our separate tasks to complete shared projects. I answered a phone call at my desk a couple of months ago that was for her, and went to verify the information to transfer the call to her. This is something the receptionist normally did, so I wasn't sure what her specific extension was. Here's how the conversation went down. OP, you have a phone call. What's your extension? Lola, it's for me. That's weird. OP, why is that weird? Lola, it's usually for you, so I don't answer it. OP, what are you talking about? I really am stumped. Lola, when someone calls either of us, both our phones ring. It's usually not for me, so I don't answer it. OP, it's normally not for me either. I just take a message or I get the call to the right person, as I'm trying to do now. Lola doesn't really have anything to say about that. I get her extension and then transfer the call to her. Back in my office, I'm kind of steaming. For almost 2 years, I've been taking every call and message when the receptionist is away. My teammate had been simply ignoring the phone the entire time, leaving all the effort to me. I looked at my phone and thought, I wish I could just unplug it. Then it occurred to me that the cord extended from a port on the floor and connected under my phone. The phone essentially sits on top of the cord with a gap space under the phone to accommodate the cord. So I unplugged my phone and I placed it on top of the cord, so it simply looks as though it is plugged in. I have no idea who's answering the phone now when the receptionist is away, but I guarantee I won't plug that phone in again unless somebody figures it out, and then I'll simply play dumb. I mean, who would do something like that on purpose? It's a small anarchy, but I'll take it. Hell yeah, OP. Like, oh no, I'm not getting any phone calls. I wonder why, and I'm not gonna answer the phone anymore. That's so awesome. The next one is called I planted my stuffed cheese bread with meat so that my vegetarian roommate stops eating my food. I posted this on Am I the A-hole and people were telling me that this sub would love it. So here it is. As the title says, my roommate's a vegetarian and they still always eat my food. Our lease is almost up and I am moving out in a couple of weeks anyway. But a couple of weeks ago, I got some cheese bread from a pizza place and I only had a few pieces. I left the rest in the fridge so I could have it when I got home from work the next day. The next day I get home, I grab the box of cheese bread and open it, and they left me one piece. Mind you, I only ate a few pieces the previous day, so I had more than half remaining. I asked them if they ate it and they admitted to it because they were drunk. They always just eat my food if it can fit their vegetarian diet, and they never ask me. Just a few months ago, I bought 10 boxes of mac and cheese because they were on sale, 10 for $10. They ate 8 boxes and I only had 2. Oh, they sound so annoying. That was supposed to be a last resort option for me when I didn't have enough money or didn't feel like making food, and they never once offered me any of my food when they made it. So today I just went and got some pizza and some bread and wings. I already know they're gonna eat the pizza and just take the meat off. However, I ended up getting stuffed cheese bread and I asked if they could put pepperoni inside of it, and the restaurant agreed. So now I'm just waiting until my roommates get home, eat my food without telling me, just so I can enjoy the satisfaction of telling them that they ate meat. Don't eat my food if you're not gonna ask. F around and find out. Yeah, I can't even put into words how frustrating this is. Look, oh, we're drunk, so we ate your food. OP should have drank all their alcohol or something. Like, how the hell do they feel like they can just eat your food? Oh, it's so frustrating. Edit, for those blowing up my DMs wanting an update, they did end up eating the bread when I was sleeping, so I had no chance to confront them. I'm currently on my way to work. I'll update more tonight at about 9 p.m. Yeah, the audacity of some people. I can't get over that. The mac and cheese one too. They bought 10 things of mac and cheese, and the roommates had 8 of them. That's messed up. The next one is called I got paired in a group project with my bully, so I made her fail. This happened in high school around 12 years ago. There was a girl, we'll call her Alex, that used to bully me non-stop. Alex and I actually used to be friends in elementary school, but out of the blue she decided that she was too cool for me, so she felt the need to bully me. She used to whip coins at me on the bus so I'd get little welts. She'd have her male friends call me and ask me out as a joke, and she'd point and laugh at me in the hallway, which I thought only happened in movies because honestly that is so pathetic. She made my life absolutely miserable. High school comes around and guess who has to sit next to her in Spanish class? Me. And guess who sat behind us? Her 2 best friends. I felt so small and invisible. She would even have her friends pick on me, like throwing spitballs or ripping the pins out of my hair and chucking them across the room so I had crazy hair. I got so fed up, but I was too shy to speak up. The teacher had us do a group project and she picked teams of 4 so you worked with whoever sat near you. And of course I had to work with her and her 2 best friends. I tried asking them for help and they would just stare at me and then continue their conversations with each other. So I had to do the entire project by myself. I remember looking over at my teacher and I can see the empathy in her eyes, but she didn't say anything. It wasn't a major project, but we had come up with some script in Spanish and all of us had to speak in front of the whole class. Since I wrote the whole thing, I basically made her lines make no sense and I didn't follow any of the rules for her. We had to use certain words and tenses and I didn't include any of that. In the middle of her speaking, I think she realized what I'd done, but she was in too deep to stop. The teacher raised her voice at Alex and I don't remember exactly what she said, but her tone definitely implied that Alex was an idiot and that she can expect a terrible grade. The best part was the public humiliation in front of the whole class, and there were definitely some snickers across the room. This part is just an added bonus, but I haven't thought of Alex in so long until now. I decided to look her up on social media and she posts a lavish life on the beach all the time with her expensive Jeep and Louis Vuitton bags. And then I googled her name and there's public records of her getting sued multiple times because she can't pay her bills, like credit card companies and apartment complexes, etc. So it does give me a chuckle knowing that her whole life is only for show and she can't actually afford her rent. No hate to anybody who's struggling financially, but when you're buying designer items, maybe worry about paying your bills first. Oh my god, that was so satisfying. Good on you, OP. And I'm sorry to hear about the bullying. They sound like they were awful, but yeah, this would have felt so good for you. And on that note, I feel like that's enough petty revenge for today. I think it's definitely wholesome memes time. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I'm sure we'll be back on this subreddit super soon. My boyfriend and I got really competitive making gingerbread houses. Now this is a date. Oh, that's so cute. And the photos are really small, but they look so good. Like you did such a good job. You can also tell that you both wanted to make super nice looking ones. I can see the competitiveness. A 140-year-old tortoise wearing her 5-day-old son as a hat, slams fist on table. This is the content I'm here for. Yeah, same, 100%. We need more of this. Scientists recently discovered that rats love to drive tiny cars, even when they don't get treats. When put in mazes adapted to tiny cars, the rats just enjoyed cruising around. Oh, that is so cute. The second photo where they're like standing up against the car. That's so adorable. I feel happier after learning about this. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more Petty Revenge, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Archie's mum on our latest Tales About Retail video. Even with the few nasty people in this video, the entire thing just melted my heart completely. I was not expecting the majority of these to be so wholesome, given what the title of the subreddit is. Yeah, definitely. I felt the exact same. It was super confusing and yeah, definitely unexpected, but amazing at the same time. And yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the episode. Okay, I'm out of here. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!